welcome back to the online family program coming to you from the Sunshine Coast Health Center. My name is Sarah, and this is part 4 in an 8-part series about pitfalls to avoid for loved ones of people struggling with addiction or in recovery. Today I wanted to talk about the pitfall of putting your life on hold. Many people who have been in relationship with somebody struggling with addiction have at some point or other put their life on hold in some way, such as canceling a trip because there wasn't enough finances to go, or the person wasn't feeling well enough and you didn't want to leave them at home alone. Things like not wanting to make big life decisions until that person has their addiction under control. All these kinds of things can put your life on hold if you're with somebody who's struggling with their addiction. So, of course, the obvious advice is don't put your life on hold for others, but that is just way too simple. And especially if you're in, like a marriage type relationship with the person that's floundering. So I think it's better instead to suggest something along the lines of listening to your inner voice. And so if you're in a marriage type relationship, for example, with somebody who's you feel like is holding up your life a bit, listening to that inner voice and communicating with them effectively what your goals are, what your aspirations and desires, and that you want to share that life with them, and hopefully you can. But if you can't, then moving on. But it is a lot more complicated in a marriage-like relationship than it is in, say, a mother-son relationship or some other relative. So given that situation, say it's your son who's struggling or your friend or something along those lines, in that case it is a little bit more simple in that you have to, again, remember our motto here, which is that each person is the author of their own life, he, his, and you, yours. And so we really don't recommend putting your life on hold for somebody else, because if you're trying to put your life on hold to go in and do, control their lives, I know you're trying to help, but ultimately what can happen is that they don't feel in control of their life, and you're just doing everything for them, and nobody's happy. So in those types of relationships, it's a little bit easier to separate out and not put your life on hold for another person. So that's it for this episode, and next episode we'll be talking about the pitfall of confusing self-concern with selfishness. So I hope you join us again then.